Hello everyone, welcome to Fun with Guns. Hey, today we're going to be talking about the Japanese Type 99 rifle. It was in production from 1939 to 1945. Why did it end in 1945? I wonder. Did something happen that year? Well, anyway, these guns shoot a 7.7 Jap round. That's what the size of the box says. That's when you look them up on AmmoSeek or wherever else you go to find this unique and special ammo. That's the only place you can really find that ammo, unless you get lucky and a gun shop for some silly reason has that ammo in there. The 7.7 round is a pretty good size round. In comparison to everything else, the Japanese in their top 38 used the 6.5 leading up to World War II during some of their skirmishes pre-World War II in the mid-30s when they were invading China and other things. They found that their machine guns that were chambered in a 7.7 worked a lot better and were a lot more effective shooting. So they decided they wanted to make a rifle in the 7.7 chamber, which comes out the Type 99. Now, there's several different arsenals that the Japanese used to make these. What was really interesting to me, or a good fun fact, is that the two of the arsenals were in Japan. The other 7 arsenals were in Korea. I always assumed that Japanese rifles were made in Japan. There's 2 different versions of this gun. There's a number of different variants, but there's 2 different versions, and there's a short and there's a long rifle. On this version right here, you have the ladder sight post, which this one seems to be broken a little bit, and this one was just kind of a good example of what a Type 99 rifle was. It's been through the years, but anyway, it had aircraft sights on it that would pop out, anti-aircraft sights that would pop out. And the theory was that the Japanese soldiers and everybody else would have a chance to take an aim at planes and take a few pop shots at planes or whatever flying overhead. Maybe not so great. Most of them that you'll find, the aircraft wings are broken off as they had a tendency to kind of fall out or fall down and open up as the Japanese soldier was trying to use them in combat and everything else, and they would just easily break off. In addition to that, this one I have put a monopod on. And the idea was just simply that the Japanese soldier would have a leg for the rifle to stand on as they were shooting in combat. That proved to be quite ineffective for the Japanese soldier in combat and fighting against whoever they happened to be fighting against at the time. And most soldiers ended up ripping those things off. Also, which I don't have, is a dust cover that these models came in. The dust cover would have covered the bolt, which is an open bolt, and the dust cover would have sat right over it and rocked back and forth with the bolt as you did it. One of the main things that I'd read and found on that is that Japanese soldiers would immediately take those off as they would be in, wherever they're at in combat and stuff, and they would make small little metallic noises as they were trying to be quiet and stealthy and everything else, and it would give away their position, so the Japanese soldiers would just take the dust cover straight off the gun. One of the last things I want to talk about on the Type 99 or any Japanese rifle is that they generally came with a chrysanthemum or a mum, as they're most commonly referred to, right here on the upper receiver. When when Japanese surrendered and MacArthur kind of took over the government of Japan to kind of get them going back on their feet and everything, one of the biggest things was if the Emperor's chrysanthemum or mum was on these rifles, it was considered the Emperor's property. Well, the MacArthur came in with his bright ideas and said the Emperor doesn't run Japan anymore. The government of Japan runs Japan, and those chrysanthemums should be grinded off of all these weapons, as they could still use them in their civil defense force, as they weren't allowed to build an army afterwards. Several did escape from Japan. Of course, there was millions of these rifles and whatnot made, and soldiers would bring them home as war trophies or souvenirs from the battles. And so a bunch of examples with the mums did end up back here in the States and are available wherever you look for guns, and it has a good military surplus examples of guns. Like I said, there are several other varieties of these guns. One of them, the most notable being the paratrooper model, which I hope to get one day to show the world. Some of the other ones that, there's several other ones that instead of having a mum, they would have something else there. I have one I'll show you in a future video, hopefully. And that's it for now. Let's go shoot it. All right, hey, we're going to shoot the 7.7 Type 99 Japanese Arisaka now. One of the points that I didn't bring up earlier is that these bullets are quite pricey in consideration to other bullets. They're probably considered a little bit exotic, as they're between $1 and $1.25 a round, just depending on where you can find them and what you can find them for priced at. This is a internal magazine that's inside the weapon. The release mechanism is right in front of the trigger. It pops out, drops them down just like this, so you can clear the chamber and make sure bullets and everything are out of it. You just poke the little elm back up in there and close the bottom of the feet of the magazine cover. I only got 3 bullets to shoot now, so you can just load them one on top of each other, loading them from the top like most other military surplus weapons. It is bolt operated. And I missed. There it is. There it is, hit number 2, 2 out of 3. Still shoots pretty good for an old gun. In my opinion, it's fun to shoot, fun to have, fun to collect. Come back and join us, see what's next